Today it's all things Western, from John Wayne to a restaurant steeped in cowboy cuisine to a Western-themed bed and breakfast and a unique horseshoe museum.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Hi, and welcome to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dean O'Lawley.
We're coming to you this week from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City, and it's the perfect backdrop for this show given its theme.
We're going to be talking about the American cowboy, and of course there are different definitions of what a cowboy is, but here are things that everyone mentions. They are honest, hardworking, dedicated, respectful.
And you can learn more about that here at the Cowboy with world-class works of art, all kinds of hands-on history exhibits, and I got to tell you, there's some great shopping in the museum store here where they have all things Western.
Now, my particularly favorite part is just right around the corner. It's the Hall of Western Performers, where you can see these incredible artifacts from the careers of many television and film stars, and of course my favorite is John Wayne.
In Hollywood, more Westerns have been made than any other kind of film. The Western in its purest form was, and arguably still is, the most prolific genre in the history of Hollywood. And if you were to ask what is a Western, you may also have to ask what is a cowboy.
The American cowboy, for over 100 years already, since the dime novels and the Wild West shows and on into the silent movies and et cetera, it carried with it a romantic notion of being out, usually horseback, but independent, doing whatever they want, saving the damsel or riding full, right toward a stampeding herd. But it was full of excitement and danger. It's kind of like 100 years ago, it was the car scene. It was the chase scene. It was Fast and Furious on horseback.
One of the most popular galleries at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum is the Hall of Western Performers, and it's there people can see old friends.
They see old friends. They see the movie stars, whether it be John Wayne or maybe Tom Mix, if they're old enough and recognize that. But back in the gallery where we've got the story of the Western. We talk about take it from the dime novels and the Wild West shows, because that's where the scripts from the silent movies came from, and then on into the broadcast media of radio, and Gunsmoke and Lone Ranger and these others on radio, and then on into the B-Westerns and the other movie media.
And throughout the years and the various actors and actresses who have starred in Westerns, well, certain props or weapons became familiar symbols of the West and its inherent struggles. And here you can see some of those iconic artifacts.
One thing we still recognize and really appreciate is when people come to museums, they like to see, as they say, the real thing. So they like to see not only information and stories about what really happened, but they like to see John Wayne's saddle, Tom Mix's 6 guns, something that was really used to hunt buffalo with or whatever. But so it's that combination in the Western Performers Gallery in particular that has a magic to people, where they can come and see Tom Selleck's saddle and the rifle that he used in many of his movies, and it makes those things come to life. Those objects come to life, and that's one of the things that really interested me in terms of getting into the business of museums, is how one object can, say John Wayne's Loop Winchester. I mean, anybody, it's iconic, and it speaks to people. They know the story, they know what it means, they know it means John Wayne, and it's fun to work with objects like that and have them translate into the popular culture.
In many instances, popular culture is reflected through various means, like wardrobe items, for instance. A case in point is the suit worn by Robert Redford in the film The Electric Horseman. Or how about some of Barbara Stanwyck's costumes from The Big Valley? But one area that everyone eventually gravitates to is the one containing items from John Wayne's impressive film career. It's here you'll find the jacket he wore in his Academy Award-winning performance in True Grit.
His career transcended quite a range of performances, and people often say he transformed. He became someone else. When he had the Rooster Cogburn and the True Grit, he transformed himself. And so he had a remarkable career. He's a remarkable man. He had a remarkable influence on the American culture.
And that impact is something both domestic and international visitors take away when they see the movie gallery in the Hall of Western Performers. They see stars, many of them exclusively identified with the Western genre itself. They get a sense of who the cowboy is in the American West as seen through the eyes of Hollywood. The iconic cowboy symbolizing strength, endurance, honesty, and integrity.
To schedule your next visit to the Cowboy Hall and Western Heritage Museum, or to find out what exhibits are coming up or events, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
Our theme this week is the American Cowboy, and if you want to learn more, we can tell you where to head next.
Need to head to the nearest place to buy the latest edition of Oklahoma Today magazine because the theme is the Cowboy issue.
And here's a preview from Oklahoma Today Managing Editor Nathan Gunter.
Oklahoma Today's Cowboy issue will have you riding off into the sunset with two brothers who make their own Hollywood westerns out of their Wild West Museum in Enid. Then go on the dodge with Cattle Annie and Little Britches, who were, according to legend, two of the wildest girls Indian Territory ever saw. Hold on tight for a look at rodeo in Oklahoma, from its origins on the frontier to the multi-million-dollar attraction it has become. Then take a turn living the life of a cowboy at one of 3 Oklahoma guest ranches, where travelers come from all over the world to spend their vacations learning to ride horses, rope cattle, and roam the range. Finish it all off by learning how to grill a perfect steak from some of Oklahoma's experts on a cowboy's favorite food. All this and so much more awaits in the current issue of Oklahoma Today. Pick yours up at newsstands now or visit oklahomatoday.com to subscribe. Oklahoma Today, the people, places, history and culture of Oklahoma since 1956.
All right, we're out of the chute and we're off and running.
And I'm happy to say we're hitting the chow line early in this show. We're headed to Tulsa to visit a restaurant that specializes in cowboy cuisine when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues.
On the road, one never knows what lies ahead. Indubitably, almost every week, one encounters bad form from Sunday drivers.
Sheer rudeness begets the occasional fender bender.
Precisely why we have insurance from AAA.
Hear, hear.
A name drivers can trust.
Especially good ones.
Especially great ones.
Cheers!
Every night, my honey lemon and I sit alone and talk and watch a hall making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, come see for yourself.
Hail, hail.
It's just frozen rain.
Can we just please pull over? There's gonna be dents all over the car. What are we, storm chasers? This is insane.
Until there's a climate control knob that actually controls the climate,
See, thank you for agreeing with me.
there's the next best thing, insurance from AAA.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, coming to you from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City and talking about the American Cowboy.
All right, you need to go pick up the latest edition of Oklahoma Today magazine because it is the Cowboy issue.
You know, I just heard the dinner bill, and that's perfect because now up next we got some cowboy grub.
That's right. There's a place called, appropriately enough, it's called Go West, and they serve up cowboy cuisine every single day.
Open since December of 2010, Go West has a very relaxed atmosphere. Obviously, it has a Western-themed flair to it. Once you've had a meal here, you realize there's something truly different about the place. They have great food, excellent service, it's comfortable, and it's reasonably priced, but it may have to do with how they refer to the kind of food that's served. We love how they describe it. Contemporary cowboy cuisine, so whether it's fish, chicken, steaks, whatever the case, everything's got a little bit of a twist to it, and they have a lot of signature dishes.
We have a buffalo meatloaf that's made with local buffalo that we purchase here in Oklahoma. We have a tenderloin, but our tenderloin comes with wild mushroom and potato enchiladas, which is unusual. We don't even have baked potatoes here. We don't consider ourselves a steakhouse. It's, again, contemporary cowboy cuisine.
And that cuisine is pretty darn tasty. And just as it would be out there on the range, everything here is made from scratch. They even make their own chips, their own bread, their own barbecue sauce, and their own ketchup. And the comments from customers reflect the enthusiasm for eating here often.
I mean, they've been very good. They've been comments from unique to different to interesting to one I read yesterday says, don't change a thing. I've been coming here for the year now and they don't want us to change a thing. And so, you know, people like the food. Again, it's different.
Speaking of different, how about jalapeno cheesecake? They take the seeds and the veins from the jalapenos, put it in the cheesecake and mix it. It's not spicy, but you do get the flavor of the jalapeno, and it is out of this world good. John takes delight in talking with all the customers. He goes to every table to find out how they heard about the restaurant. Have they been here before, and so on. He wants to know if people are coming from miles away to have a fun dining experience. Now, lunch is pretty laid back, and for dinner, Go West switches to what they call casual upscale dining.
And again, we're not a restaurant where we want people to come in and be hurried, to hurry and get out. We want them to come and experience the atmosphere, the friendliness of the waitstaff. We have an open air kitchen that people can actually see the chefs working right there and cooking their food. You know, we don't have a problem with somebody walking up to the grill, and we grill all our meat with mesquite wood, and smoke our meat also with mesquite wood.
If you're driving by on Route 66 or I-44, you can spot Go West by the two large grain silos. And on Friday and Saturday nights, there's a Cowboy valet. Josh will pick you up at your car and give you a ride right to the front door. You can find all the information you need on Go West, including a link to the restaurant menu, by going to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
All right, time to saddle up and head to the corral, so to speak.
You know what? Well, the perfect place is Guthrie. We're headed there to a Western-themed bed and breakfast when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
I was sitting behind an SUV at a red stoplight, and I guess the light wasn't turning green fast enough for her, so she puts her SUV in reverse and backs right into my new car. I'd called her insurance several times and they had never heard of her.
We recommended that she go ahead and turn the claim in to AAA so that AAA claims adjusters could take care of her.
I paid my $500 deductible to get my car fixed, and I didn't ever expect to see that money again.
I didn't want her to have to be out $500 because it wasn't her fault. So that was the only question. A lot of times if there is no insurance coverage, it's hard to get the other party to pay up.
2 months later, I had a check in the mail from AAA for my $500. So when I had given up on it, they were still fighting to get my money back for me.
She said, guess what? I got a check in the mail. That was a good feeling for her, and it made me feel good too.
They've really shown me that if I ever have a problem, that they're gonna help me fix it.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, coming to you from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, which houses one of the finest collections of Western art anywhere in the world.
I just love this place. You can get such a tremendous feeling of cowboy culture and the true West.
You know, you went to a bed and breakfast in Guthrie where you can kind of get that Old West feel as well.
I did. In the back of this bed and breakfast, there's a small Western town. They use it for movies and commercials and so forth. But what's really fun is you can play cowboy, and at the end of the day, when you're tired, you can spend the night.
Marshal, I'm still waiting on you.
Waiting's finished, Jesse.
It's obvious this is not your normal bed and breakfast location. After that explosive opening, you will be happy to know Rollins Creek is quietly nestled on the east side of Guthrie, right off Highway 33. Now, just behind the main house is where you'll find this vintage Western set. The owner, Colin Coffey, says this all started back when he worked at Frontier City as a gunfighter.
And I've always wanted my own place to do gunfights, so I decided to build a town for gunfighting. And halfway through the town, stopped and built a house. Then we turned the upstairs of the house into a bed and breakfast.
And that bed and breakfast, though only recently opened for business, has been building in popularity strictly through word of mouth. There are 3 guest rooms, one with a king-size bed, the other 2 have queen-sized, and all are rustic, folksy, and very comfortable. If you are looking for that rural, quiet, and peaceful setting, you'll find it here, along with a breakfast John Wayne would be proud of.
scrambled eggs, sausage, biscuits, gravy, coffee and juice, and that's about it right there. That's enough. We haven't had anybody leave the table wanting more.
Another cool aspect of this unusual bed and breakfast is the Western set has been used for some locally produced movies and commercial production. Colin hopes to be able to host more productions as he continues to expand the Western town with the help of his family and friends. For now, though, if you are a guest, you can tour the saloon and the marshal's office. This is also a fun place to host a birthday party, and coming soon, you'll be able to check in for a Western-themed adventure weekend.
We'll dress you up in the period clothing like this, give you a blank firing gun, and so much of our town money, and let you play cowboy for the weekend.
In the meantime, I'd get my reservations in early, as rooms here might be getting harder to come by.
All right, you boys, I seen them cards up your sleeve there. Been cheating on us. Excuse me just a minute. Rollins Creek Bed and Breakfast, may I help you? Yes, reservations for 2 for Friday and Saturday night? Yes, hold on just a minute, please. Yeah, we just had a couple cancellations. We'd be glad to book you in. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I bet you can get your reservations a lot easier than that. Rollins Creek also is a great location for weddings and retreats. You can find details for your stay at the Rollins Creek Guest Ranch in Guthrie on their website, and we'll link you to it from the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com.
We're not done yet.
This next story, well, you could say it was a shoe-in for this show. Horseshoe, that is. We'll explain when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues right after this.
He's been our insurance agent for the last 6 years. But the year before that, he was the best man at my wedding.
Asked him if I could quote his auto insurance, to which he said, yes, but you're gonna have to beat the company I've been with for forever in order to get it.
I didn't think they'd be able to.
So I took the opportunity to quote it, and I know I was able to save him about $600 a year.
Man, I was just like, boom shakalaka, like, are you kidding me?
He actually said that on the phone, boom shakalaka.
You know, saving money with AAA means food on the table for my family. Even after he saved us tons of money, he's looked at our policy over the years and helped us make changes to save even more money without us asking.
We offer the best of both worlds. We have great customer satisfaction through the level of service that we provide, and combined with an amazingly low rate.
You know, as a parent and as a husband, having insurance is a safety net because life happens. I know that AAA is going to take care of us. I don't have to worry about it. AAA is going to be there. Levi's going to be there. They're going to take care of our needs.
Welcome back. AAA Oklahoma makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state. Here's a look at today's AAA.
Hi, Chuck May here with AAA Oklahoma. Watching your teenager get behind the wheel can be pretty scary. With so many dangers on the road, how do you know if they're ready? At AAA, we get how stressful this can be, so we've created a full range of tools to help you through the learning to drive process. First, sign up for our free Start Smart newsletters to teach you and your teen how to reduce risk by working together. Next, check out Take the Wheel, our affordable, parent-taught driver's education program that provides everything you need to teach your teen how to drive. Plus, it's certified by Oklahoma, so your teen can get that license earlier. If your teen's already driving, our driver safety program, Teen Smart, can make them 3 times safer on the road. In fact, it's worked so well, we offer up to a 25% savings on their AAA auto insurance for successful completion. Find out more under Teen and Mature Driver Safety in the AAA News and Safety section of AAA.com.
AAA for the ones who matter most to you.
We've been talking about the American cowboy, but I think it's safe to say without a horse, you don't have a complete cowboy.
You don't. The horse is key to the cowboy lifestyle and was vital to the development of the West.
And there's a place in Sulphur where you can learn the art of shoeing a horse.
Throughout history, horses have played a tremendous role in the forging of American history, and the person who's been there with every stride is the dedicated farrier. And for those who don't know, farriers are experts in equine hoof care, or they sometimes can be called an equine practitioner. And at the National Museum of Horseshoeing Tools and Hall of Honor, you can get a very good idea of the tools used by those hardworking folks across the country. Lee Lyles has been a professional horseshoer since 1965, and what you'll find at the museum is a result of over 50 years of his collecting the tools of the trade, so to speak.
So this is a way of me giving back to an industry that was really good to me. This is a hands-on museum. We've got the world's largest library of horseshoeing books here. People come here and do study and research. We put on a lot of clinics, special education courses for horseshoers with special people coming in here.
People do come here not only to simply be enlightened by this fascinating trade, but, as Lee mentioned, to learn. Whether it's about bridle bits for horses that were blacksmith made, chances are you'll walk away with a better appreciation for the farrier and blacksmith. You'll learn about the two most important needs of the blacksmith and farrier, which are hammers and anvils. In fact, you'll find over 500 anvils in this one museum. What you'll also find is a tremendous amount of history.
I've got a shoe board over there that was in the, I'm gonna say, First World's Fair, which was called the Columbian Expedition in Chicago in 1893. I've got a shoe board that was in the World's Fair in St. Louis in 1904. But the greatest educator we had was Professor William Russell. He came from Cincinnati, Ohio, and from 1879 to 1907, he wrote about 14 books and offered all of his collection, and he had 13 shoe boards in his book. And I'm fortunate enough to have case number 12 and case number 13.
And in case you don't realize the extent to which research can be done here, listen to this story.
One lady, I helped find her grandfather, and he was in Lincoln, Nebraska. Worked for a horseshoeing shop up there. So she was able to go back in the census for that period and find her ancestors and relatives. I thought that was remarkable.
What's also incredible is to think that some may say blacksmithing and the craftsmanship involved with shoeing horses is a lost art. They would be wrong.
Blacksmithing is an art. You get a vision, you see that vision, and you're able to make that product or thing that you've envisioned, and so that's a piece of art, and it's like a horseshoer. When a horseshoer trims a foot, goes over and cuts off a piece of steel and hand makes a horseshoe and nails it on that shoe right there, he has seen the pattern of that foot with his eyes, and in his eyes and his eye and hand coordination builds that shoe to exactly fit that foot.
And finally, when a person walks out of the museum, Lee wants you to have a better appreciation for those who he calls horse-related people.
I want them to understand that's a special individual. It's very hard work, and if he stays in business a long time, he's very devoted to it. And to work with them, be friends with them, give them a chance sometimes in helping your horses. Work together. It takes a team effort to make good horses.
To find out more about the National Museum of the Tools of Horseshoeing and Hall of Honor, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com. That's our show for this week. A big thanks to the folks at the Cowboy for hosting us this week, and to the folks in the museum store for loaning me this great necklace and belt for the show.
And they're waiting right off camera to make sure you don't forget to return them.
They don't have to worry, because I'll be shopping at the store before we leave. Yeah.
Very good. It's so enjoyable to always come here, but we also want to remind you to pick up the latest edition of Oklahoma Today magazine. This is their Cowboy issue.
It'll save you some shopping at Christmas, because you know an annual subscription, one size fits all.
Absolutely.
It's a perfect gift.
Absolutely. And we also want to thank you very much for watching.
Next week, are you ready for some football? We'll take you to a classic place for breakfast and lunch in Stillwater, a pizza place that's a popular hangout for TU and OU Switzer Center. Hope you'll join us.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover in Oklahoma. Production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.